Hello everyone, good evening. Hello. Guys, please confirm you can hear me.
Can hear you.
All right, good evening everyone. You all are welcome to today's training, software testing training with Cypress. Um, Based on the screen, kindly mute your mic. Based on what we have on the screen, kindly mute your mic. If you want to ask a question, do well to use the raise hand icon shown on your screen. So this is how the raise hand icon looks like. Okay. So I'm currently raising my hand, as you can see. When you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. And of course, if you have any question that you don't feel if you're not in a very nice or convenient place to talk, just drop it in the comment section. We'll look into it and give you all the answers you require. Once again, you're welcome to today's automation class. My name is John Chimeze. And firstly, we just have to run through. Okay, I think there are so many people trying to join at this time. Excuse me. All right, so let's just start the training. First of all, everyone, welcome to software testing training with Cypress. My name remains John Chimede Ifine, and it's a great honor to have you all here to share and learn together. In this training, there are so many things we would learn, and please, I want you all to ask us, many as possible questions you can ask. Don't be shy. Just drop it if you can't say it. We'll look into the questions and then we'll give you all the answers you deserve or the answers you require. So, firstly, we have to talk about the company. This is CapDev Limited. As you can see, it is your trusted partner for precision in quality and empowerment in growth. We meticulously scrutinize every line of code to ensure your digital products shine with quality, security, and performance. Beyond testing, we nurture talent, partner with leading companies, and generate value, empowering business individuals and the tech industry itself to reach new heights. Choose CAVDEV for quality of success and the promise of a brighter digital future. What is our mission? Our mission is simple to influence and educate individuals in the field of technology and skilled development, guiding them to adopt a growth-oriented mindset. In doing so, we aim to cultivate a pool of proficient professionals for future employers, ultimately enhancing the global world of technology. And our vision is very simple also. We aim to establish ourselves as a premier source for producing top-tier technology enthusiasts worldwide. This vision guides as our guiding principle, shaping our actions, method, and purpose. And our core values are integrity, passion, team spirit, commitment, professionalism, inclusivity, and diversity. So we all are here today because we find something of value that we would like to gain from today's class. So I urge you all to make sure that after this training, you gain meaningful thing from today's engagement. My name is John Chimize. I'm a skilled QA engineer in the background of business administration and over 4 years of experience. In my years of experience, I've worked in different teams like healthcare ERP systems, the banking, the telecoms. I specialize both in manual automation testing, performance testing, using different tools like Cypress, Playwright, Postman, JMeter, and the likes of them. As a lead instructor in Capital Limited, I aspire and my passion is to mentor aspiring testers. It means anyone who is willing to move into the field of, into the field of tech as a software tester. I'm more than welcome to help you, lead you with the right orientation so you get the right guide in order to become a fine and professional tester. Okay. So on my LinkedIn, you can always find me as Ifeanyi John Chimeze on LinkedIn, because share connection. I share, some updates, tips, tech tips that could help you reshape, what you know about tech. And of course, I can also learn from you. So please, if you're interested, follow me. We would be friends over there. So today we'll be talking about automation testing. I'm just to be very sure we are all engaging or following each other. Can you guys please give me a fire emoji if you know you are here? Okay, thank you. Precious Temitope. Thank you so much, so much. Thank you so much. Jubril Adigun. Okay, thank you, everyone, guys. You all are awesome. All right, so let's begin. Um, Actually, I know before now, some of us might have already, you know, made some research about automation testing, especially for us who are already software testers. Let's get to understand what software testing is, or should I say, let's get to understand what automation testing is. So on my screen here, we have a little definition here. It says automation testing is a process. So everyone knows what a process is, right? A process of doing something. It is a step by step. You move from one level to another. So that's what process simply means. So it says here it's a process of using specialized tools and scripts to execute test cases automatically instead of performing them manually. From the word automation, we know automation is something that is achieved by the help of computer. Very easy, right? When we say manual, that means we are doing it by our own human effort. So automation is something achieved by the help of computer. And by so doing this, or by doing this, we use some specialized tools to achieve our results. As a software tester or as a quality assurance person, your primary duty is to ensure you safe keep or safeguard the application that you're building or the project you're working on. Your duty is to ensure you safeguard it against fraud, against issues, against any bugs or defects, anything that could affect the business as a whole, that will make end users not to use this application. Your duty is to ensure you fish them out at the early stage of testing and report them so that they can be fixed thoroughly and resolved. Then you can now be satisfied to push or declare an application free from defect before you move into production. So we use some specialized tools. An example of these tools is Cypress, which of course we'll be looking deeply into today. Um, in a simpler term, it means using software to test other software by verifying that an application works as expected by running pre-written test scripts that checks various features, functions, and workflows. Very easy. Of course, our whole process in the software development world is to check that whatever feature, whatever functions, or whatever module builds are working concurrently, they're working, as expected. So let me give a little illustration, an example here. There's an example here that says instead of manually logging into a website each time to test the login feature, manually, you want to test an application, you need to log it by yourself to check it all the time. There's an alternative now. An automated script can perform the login, check for success, and repeat it across different browsers or devices, all without human intervention. So today, what we'll be learning purely is to understand how we can use these automated scripts, these automated or specialized tools to test applications without using so much of human effort. I hope it makes sense. Please, if you can still hear me clearly, kindly give an emoji. That's the way I confirm everybody's following. And like I said, if you have questions, just raise your hand. But I'm guessing it's too early to ask questions now because we haven't even started anything. And you can also drop it in the comment section. Okay, good. Now, what are the importance of automation testing? Firstly, before I begin or before I continue, I would like to show a face to to this so everybody can see me and know who is behind this training. Can you guys see me? Okay, this is too much. Can everybody see me? Thank you. Thank you. So this is not a robot, it's not AI, it's actually a real woman talking. So we'll be doing so many stuffs together if you guys pay attention. And of course, remember from the requirements, we said you should get a book and a jotter, or we should get a book or a jotter and a pen so you can jot some things down and ask questions where you feel confused. So now that we've seen my face, and now we can all continue or go back to the test. All right, to the training. Okay, so let's continue. So, what are the importance of automation testing? As you can see from the screen, number one, we have for faster execution. Of course, when you use your hand to blend pepper and you try to use a machine to blend pepper, what do you think, or which of these method do you think will be more faster? Logically, we all know is the machine. So this automated testing tool helps us test faster, helps us execute our test faster. It also helps us to reuse the testing script. So what does this mean? It means you've written a test. You've written a test as of yesterday, for instance, and you're coming today to test it. You don't need to write any other code. You don't need to write any other script, except you want to add or modify those scripts. You can then write a little script and then retest again. So, but if you've written this test already, you don't need to rewrite any other script. So you can also rerun that test, without writing any other script, and it will execute it. So it helps us improve accuracy. If you tested yesterday and your test, all of them passed, as of today, you notice something is failing. Of course, it would mean that something has gone wrong, and then you'll be able to spot where the issue, has gone wrong, or where the issue is happening from. The fourth one says continuous integration and delivering. So your test also helps you to contribute to the development, and also help you to improve the development. So, for instance, you have a test that has been moved into a pipeline, and the test already is running in the pipeline, where there is a case of a change or modification in the code. Automatically your test will run and it will trigger any issue if it finds any. And if it doesn't find any issue, of course, it will continue to pass. But if a change happens in the environment and your test triggers, if there's a problem, it identifies the problem, and then you would of course attend to the problem. So be learning all these things as we continue. Wider test coverage. Automation test helps you to cover a whole lot of areas. So far, you've automated those scripts. It keeps it to check. It helps you to show if issues arises in any corner, whether in your test or from the development, and so you are able to detect it. Of course, early bug, it helps you to find issues early. It detects bugs for you. Cost efficiency in the long run, okay, and then enhances reporting and traceability. So all these are the automation importance of automation testing. Okay, so there are various types of automation too. In this course, we are particular about Cypress, but of course, you can read more about Selenium WebDriver, Playwright, Puppeta, Catalan. We have something called Test Project. So there's so much automation too. But we'll just limit ourselves to Cypress for now. So we have full knowledge of what Cypress is and how we implement Cypress in our real world practical. All right. But before we continue, I would like us to understand what SDLC means, most especially for the newbies who are coming or starting a journey with us, or who wish to learn what automation testing is. You could start with this, to know the foundation of software testing. So I'll just run through this quickly before we move into practical aspect of automation. So what is the SDLC? Of course, a lot of us have so much of ideas of what SDLC means. SDLC simply stands for Software Development Lifecycle. Basically, the process at which development team work, from one stage to another. So let's take an example. You're about to build a house. A house, if you want to build a house, it's a project. Before you even start to lay foundation, you need to first identify a contractor, someone who you know is a professional in that field, that will help you in organizing the rest of the things and help you in actualizing your vision. So your vision is to build Is it a skyscraper? Is it a bungalow? Is it a two-story building? So this person helps you to understand the project. So this person work with you. Then this person would then, connect, or should I say, move the project further by involving an architect who is going to draw, the plan of the building. So architect will draw a plan, will then structure this plan, then of course move this plan further to build something called an architectural structure, like a design that would show how the house would be if eventually they complete the project. This house would look exactly like this. So that's the function of this architect. He's going to design, the architectural structure. Then when he designs the architectural structure can be done either in the skeletal view or it's done in the 3D format, where you see in the pictorial form how perfect the building will look like, after they finish, building the whole process. Then, of course, you need the laborers, you need the electricians, you need different stages, you need the different actors. I call them the actors, people that will play key role in the activities, in the process, right? The same way it is for software testing. All right. Oh, yeah. Somebody just said 3D renders. Okay. So the 3D, renders, that's perfect. So the same scenario I just gave now is the same thing you face when you're about to embark on a project. When building a software project, there is always someone who has the vision, who has the idea. Now, this person can be a business owner. It could be Dangote, who wants to move into another business. Let's say he wants to move into a mobile cement delivery company. He wants to start delivering cement mobile from the web. So he needs a website. Dangote is the business owner who would then involve somebody that would help organize the team, the whole team. First of all, he needs somebody to come up with a document of what and what features they'll be needing on the application. And this person is going to be the business driver. So he's a business analyst. So all these people would, do their own part of the job. They'll move to the design. So at the initial stage is the business gathering. They gather the whole requirements needed for the job. They move into the design. The design person will design, the structure of the application before we move into the build stage, as you can see. So from the gathering, you move into design, you move into the build. That means they've started building the application. Now, what concerns us majorly is the testing phase, which is the software testing aspect. So far, or anything they've built, we then test it, then we expose issues. Our duty is to ensure that the application, after building, does not have issues or is reliable. Reliability means we can use it with confidence. People can put in their money and go to sleep, shutting their two eyes, confident enough to say, when I keep my money, or when I invest my money, or when I trade with these people, or when I do business with this platform, it is 100% guaranteed. The security is not compromised. My data are not compromised. Just like the normal app we trust today, for instance, we trust OPay, we trust some other applications that we can, use seamlessly without worrying about fraudulent activities. Okay, so our duty is to ensure applications are built in their expected order. We check security, we check functionality, we check performance, we check all these things. And of course, we run automated scripts to ensure these are running concurrently without us repeating the same process again. I'm sure with this little experience, or this little understanding, many people have gotten what automation testing is right now. So even if you're new, I am sure you've gotten something useful. And we move on to the next, so we don't. Please, can you guys still hear me? Just to confirm again. Okay, great, 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 great. All right, so we move on to the next, so we don't waste too much time on explanation. All right, so how do you begin your automated or automation testing? The year is already running to an end, and a lot of us have so many, things to achieve. But this could be one of them. You achieved an experience in automation testing, and so you should pay attention to this. So when you want to start your process, or when you want to start, using scripts like, a tool like Cypress, first you need to install what we call the VS Code. VS Code is an IDE. An IDE simply stands for Integrated Development Environment. Simply, it's just like an interpreter that helps you interpret every line of language in programming. Like your JavaScript is a language, um, TypeScript is a language. It helps you interpret all these languages and, of course, translate, or should I say, execute these languages into executable commands. Meaning, when you write some script, it executes, to give you, a result. The first thing is for you to install VS Code. Of course, if you have joined our group early enough, you must have been carried along on how to install this. And if you don't, um, excuse me, we can still reshare the steps on how to install VS Code. The next thing is to also install what we call Node.js. Excuse me, Node.js. Now, what is the essence of Node.js? Node.js is a runtime environment that helps you execute a JavaScript command. So Node.js helps you to ensure that your JavaScript commands are running. Okay, we have something also called the JIT. JIT is like a source control, is a source control that helps you keep track of your files, so you can make changes, collaborate with people without losing the original file. This helps you to track, keep changes on your file. So when you install your VS Code, you set it up. So I'm setting up mine. I may need to share my whole screen. So give me a moment to share my whole screen so everyone can, of course, see my screen. Uh, Sorry, so screen is hanging now. Hello, can everybody see me? My screen
Yeah.
seems to be okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my screen was hanging for a moment. All right. Okay, let's confirm we can all see my screen now. Please confirm you can see my screen. Am I sharing my whole screen now? Seems to hang. Okay, I think I can see it's sharing, right? Okay, great. So we are going to move on by launching our VS Code. Pardon me. So I'm just going to create a new window. I'll just delete this. Okay, so many people are still joining us. Of course, let's give them time to catch up. And this call is recorded just in case you missed, what we discussed about. You can always go back to the recording and watch it and ask questions, of course, if you have any questions to ask. So firstly, when you launch your VS Code, this is what you get. So this, like I said, is just like an interpreter that help you to, okay, guys, confirm you can see my screen. Just a thumbs up or a fire emoji is better. Some people are saying they can't see the screen. Okay, so most people can see. So if you can't see the screen, kindly go off, then join again. I bet you the system or the network will be fair this time. Then you can see it. Okay, great. So we can continue, right? Wonderful. So this is my VS Code. As you can see, I've launched my VS Code and I'm currently in my VS Code application. So if I want to start working on this, I simply would just, this is an introduction, so you don't need to do anything interesting. You can even close this if you don't want to, view, a lot of things. Now, by my left hand side, you can see there's something called Explorer. So this Explorer is, a section where you can import folders and, of course, do some great stuff. So I'm going to be importing folders from Explorer. I can also search on some of my files. If I have so many files, I need to search on something. So of course, we all know what search results does. So when we search, it populates, it gives us the searched item or the searched file. Then this is a source control, like I mentioned, and JIT is a source control rather. So this can help us keep track of our file. As we know, it can help us keep track of our file, and we are able to do a code. We will not set command, but we're able to use JIT commands without writing scripts. So if you're learning JIT or if you know JIT, we use some command like JIT add, JIT this, JIT that. However, when you use source control, you don't need to use any command. You just need to, click buttons and then it gives you the same result, right? Just like using the GUI, the GUI method and the CLI method. Okay, so here you use GUI methods. Okay, also, we have this called run and debug. Of course, it helps you to locate issues where you have issues. You could come here, track it, then see how you can resolve it. Of course, we have something also called extension. You can add an extension to your JIT if you want to. If you know what it is used for, you can add it. And there's something I use on my code like code GPT. Sometimes when I run into problems or when I have issues in remembering things, it's not a bad thing. It's not something to be ashamed of. You can just connect your code to code gpt, then it helps you to easily help you to rewrite your code or help you to give help you to modify your code to full meaning. Even when you're writing codes, most times you may not remember to write the whole codes. This helps you to write them correctly and so on. We can start. All right, so you click here to import a folder. As you can see, it's going to move into my folder. I'll locate the folder I want to import my file from, maybe my desktop this time. And this time I'm just going to name it something. So I'm going to click on new folder. And of course, I'm going to name it something very easy. So today's date is 15th. So I can say 15th November. Okay, so I can create this file and I can open. So you can name it anything. It's not compulsory you name it 15th of November. I'm just using this as an example. So when you upload a folder, the next thing you want to do is to click and open a terminal. A terminal is where you enter, some commands and they're able to, this is an environment, a local environment. You can run different scripts here and it helps you to, execute those commands. For instance, I told you all to download Node.js. So if you want to confirm your Node.js is installed, you just simply do, okay, somebody is saying I'm too fast. All right. Thank you. I'll just take it. I'll just take it again. Like I said this is a terminal. The next thing you need to do after you upload a folder is to click and open a new terminal. So I've already done that. And like I said, this terminal helps you to execute some commands, some basic commands, and some commands that are acceptable within the environment. For instance, you've installed your Node.js, right? You want to confirm the version of your Node.js. This is just to confirm the version you installed. You can also try it. Simply do node, put space, and just -v, and you enter. As you can see, my present node version is version 20.19.4. So this is the version of node I am using. I have not done anything special, okay? I have only just showed you guys how to check the version of my node. But how do you even start up a project? Okay. Let me see. Somebody drop in a message. You know what? I think to make it easy, I'm going to assign Oluwadamilare. Hello, Dami, can you unmute your mic? Damilola, rather. Oluwadamilola.
Yes, please.
Yes, how are you, Damilola? Could you
Fine, thank you.
please read up, message for me? So
Okay.
you're the only person I've assigned to, help assist with the messages. In case I can't see them, just help us out. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. Now, like I said, what are the first thing we need to do? So remember, we already installed Node.js. Installing Node.js, like I said, it's a runtime environment that helps us ensure our functions, or should I say, the JavaScript functions are executable. So this Cypress runs on a programming language called JavaScript. It is supported by JavaScript and TypeScript. Node, therefore, is the engine that supports the JavaScript commands to be able to execute. So how do we even start? How do we install Node? Means that without Node on our system, we may not be able to use JavaScript commands. Does it make sense? Okay, you know the rules, right? If it makes sense, emoji, so I know you understand. All right, that makes sense. It means everybody understands. So now we've installed Node, therefore our JavaScript command should run. So how do we install JavaScript? There is a simple command called npm init. Now the full meaning of npm stands for n means node. Remember, we need Node to be able to execute some JavaScript commands, not some, all JavaScript commands. Without it, the absence of Node, our JavaScript will not function. Hence, we will not be able to use, Cypress, because Cypress run on JavaScript. Now, N means Node, P means package, M means manager. So the Node package, this thing, what's called manager, initialize. Init simply stands for, the full meaning of init means initialize. So we want Node to be initialized now so that our JavaScript command can function. So when we enter, of course, we'll be directed to answer some few questions like a package name is November 15. If you remember, that was what we created. You just hit enter, just hit enter. The version, this is the version we are using, just hit enter. Description, you could just say automation testing. You could just put any description if you want to. There is no, you may decide not to add anything. Okay. So entry point, you don't need to do anything. Okay. So test command, nothing else, nothing. Git repository. For now, we are not, linking this project to Git. We are working, purely on our locals, meaning on our computer. So you go with keywords, nothing. Author, of course, my name is John Chimeze. I can put my name as the author, and that's all I need to do. All right, so we move on. Okay, and license, of course, this license, it's usually there, and for this we are using ISC, and so we hit enter. So if everything you're doing, if you get to this point, you could just say yes. So you're saying, is this okay? Meaning the information she provided, is it okay? Yes. You'll just continue. Why this is running, let me confirm from our group head or class head. Is there any questions so far?
Someone's asking if we always have to run npm init.
Of course, we always have to run npm init whenever you're trying or whenever you're using, JavaScript function command in your project. You always have to run npm init. Okay. So now we've gotten to this point. The next thing for us, meaning we've installed Node. Okay, as you can see, the first command we executed here, npm init, has given us a package here. This package, I can click it. Of course, the whole question I was asked here has been, displayed, is now visible here. So the next thing for us to do now is now to install Cypress. So we can install Cypress the same way. npm install Cypress like this. Now, the reason let me tell you the difference. When you install Cypress like this, npm install Cypress, dash save dash dev, you will be installing the latest, or should I say the current Cypress version. So Cypress usually updates their versions. Most times they update it, sometimes every 2 weeks. Sometimes you could use a version 10 now, the next morning you're seeing a version 11. So that's how fast they upgrade their version. And of course, something I remembered, I forgot to add, you can always modify. So I can change this to John C. Okay, I can modify it. I can leave it as John. So it's not static. It's something you can always modify. So I will not be installing the latest version of Cypress this week. For you, you can install, but for me, I choose to, install the older version that I use. I use something like, so if you want to install another type of Cypress version, you simply do npm install -c-dev Cypress at. So I like to install Cypress 4.0. Okay. So I usually don't have a problem with installing this older version called Cypress 4.0. But if let's go to Google and see current Cypress version. So let's see the current Cypress version we have. Currently, we have a version 15.6.0. So this was released 11th for, you can see what I'm saying. You upgrade their versions almost every time. So this was released, um, you know, 12 days ago, okay, or 11 days ago rather. Today is 15. So yeah, 11 days ago. So I tend to use something I'm more, comfortable with. As you can see, after installing after installing this version, please don't worry about trying to wrap your head about this video is recorded. Okay, we would always send the recording after it's called. So after you install this first, so the first command we install is npm init, as you can see. And of course, I would give you access to this document so you can understand. There's a step-by-step approach. Run npm in it. As you can see, create a folder. And so there's a step-by-step approach to help you with all the guides. So just listen and have understanding first. Then you can always ask your questions later. So the first thing we executed was the node npm was the node package, okay, that gave us this package here. Then the next thing we went further to do was now to install Cypress. Now we have installed Cypress. Installing Cypress has given us, Cypress is not like an application you install that sits on your computer. It is something you install from the cloud. So it is a cloud-based application. Does it make sense? Just like you're calling it from a cloud. A cloud is something you can't see, but it's existing up, somewhere. So you install it and it comes into your system. And now that we've installed it, remember there are two folders that will be installed along with your Cypress. The first one is called your node modules. As you can see, these are modules. These are everything that would help your Cypress commands to execute. Okay. And this is what we call the package.log. So these are like your Cypress versionings and your modules and all the dependencies that will ensure that your Cypress commands are executable. So this is your package.log that helps you to ensure that. Now, the next thing or the third command we want to execute is now to open Cypress. Remember, to open Cypress is a pretty different command. So if you notice, we'll be doing npm in it. That was the first thing. The second one, we did npm install and the Cypress command. Now, the third command is npx, because npm stands for Node Package Manager. Remember, npx stands for Node Package Execute. So now we are going to execute this Cypress and we'll command it to open. So we are saying npx Cypress open. And guess what? An external application, like you can see, Cypress application will now install or would be activated. And now this would pop up on our page where we can now see Cypress itself. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have followed us to this point, you have successfully been able or be taught on how to install Cypress. Thank you for the emojis. Now we can now see the difference. So for some of us, if this is your first time, you don't know what E2E means or what component testing is, I'm just going to give you, a very simple understanding. A component testing is the same as saying components is also referred to as units. Okay, so when we say components, we are also referring to units, meaning one thing. All right, so a component test is usually done by the developer, okay, while the end-to-end test is done by a tester. So don't be confused. Well, what did John do? John didn't do magic. John just clicked here and John activated this. To talk more about this, we would look at it in the next video. But for now, make sure you activate the E2E, right? So after clicking on E2E, I get to see some fantastic features that I'm going to configure. So the moment I agree to this, guess what? Anything I'm agreeing to automatically adds to my application here, to my IDE. IDE is my VS Code. So now I've activated this part. I configured it by clicking it. So I have something like cypress.config. Can you see? So anything I do will start to reflect itself here. So notice if I continue now, Now it's going to take me to a page where I can initialize a browser I want to use for my test. Most of you can choose Chrome. For me, I only have two browsers. I have Chrome and Firefox. That's why you can see the two of them here. If you have more than two browsers, you can always see, all your browsers here. But I don't like to use any of this, either of this. I like to maintain Electron. Electron comes, with Cypress. So I just maintain Electron. So when I click on it to E, and I'll be taken to another interface called the Play tool. So this is the Play tool. If you are getting there, don't be confused. We just did an installation and activation process. So now you can see there's a major changes on our system. Now we've activated Cypress majorly. So we now have Cypress installed. As you can see, under Cypress, we have fixtures, we have support. Then we can go back there. And under here, if I click here, it's going to give us an example. So for instance, if I click here and I continue with, I got it. Now, all these are going to be visible in my Cypress. As you can see under Cypress here, I have it way now because I clicked on it. And now I can see these things. They are the examples. So you can just come here. If I want to stroll by this whole thing and check what this example, these examples do. For instance, you want to automate and you like to use some scripts that speaks to actions. Okay, you can learn some scripts that speaks to actions here. You might want to look at some scripts that speaks to aliasing or assertions. You can learn it, but all these are just examples. But how then do we create our own experience? Let's say we want to test an application called Parabank. So this is like this is a bank application. So this is me manually testing it. So this is what a manual test is. You open the application. You try to enter, a password. You try to log in. For instance, I'm coming down here to click on register. I'm moving here to enter my name. I'm coming here to enter my last name again. And I'm putting an address here. For instance, excuse me. So I'm putting 50, let's say Kehinde Street. Okay. So I'm putting so many data and information here. Let's say it's solo. So I'm putting so many data and information here. The same way I want to test it using my automation tool. Very easy. So here, like I said, you just have to ignore this. So how do you do this? You go back to your Cypress. It is always on your taskbar. So the moment you launch Cypress open, it will stick or it will be pinned automatically on your taskbar because the project is still opened. You simply go to spec. Here I can create, my own kind of spec. Remember the first time we clicked on the example, look at it. It says scaffold example spec, which we have activated here. So all these are like examples of how you test some. If you want to test a location field, you can just use this. If you want to test, things, you can just check how to test local storage and all those stuffs here. Okay, but how do we create our own tests? So I will just show you. So go back to your Cypress, click on create new empty spec. So on this empty spec, I want to test launching the URL. So I'll just say URL launch. So let me just use an underscore. URL launch. Now remember or notice what I did. I only wrote in between this Cypress and Eatway. I wrote in between it, and I did not remove this CY.js because this must be in your script for it to run. You must identify Cypress. CY means Cypress, and you must identify the language, the acceptable language. JS means JavaScript. So a spec means file. This just simply means file. Don't mind the English, okay? It means file. So I'm going to create one file and notice what happens here. So if I create this, automatically the file is being created. So automatically anything you do under this Cypress automatically generates its own feedback for you in the IDE. Okay, so that's why I said it's like an interpreter that helps you to interpret your code. So if I click run, What does this mean? It is going to execute this command. Let me confirm from my audience if you guys are still following. Are you guys still following me, please? A confirmation. Okay. Um, Oluwa Adami, do we have any question?
Yes. Someone asks, why do you prefer the Electron browser and what's the advantage?
Okay, there is really nothing. So if you notice, I am still on one particular so if you notice I'm still on one particular browser or one particular, let's say one particular yeah, this is an application, this is Cypress browser, so I call it Cypress runner. I'm still on one runner. If I had created or used something different, I would have an extra Chrome or an extra browser by my side that I would use to run all this or experience. For instance, let me show you. So let's run this for instance. When I run this now, note that I am still on Cypress. So let's say I go back and I want to change Electron to Chrome, right? It is going to create an extra browser for me. I hope it makes sense now, which of course I do not want. So like I'm having both my normal Chrome and I can have an extra browser for my Cypress testing. Of course, I do not want that stress. I just want to maintain one. I hope the person who works now can see the difference. So if I want to close Chrome, I just need to do close, click Electron, and I open. So it maintains just same browser or same runner I have used before. Does it make sense? Wonderful, wonderful. So can we continue? Great. So now I want to run my test. So I created a test to test for the URL. So I can run it by clicking on this URL, as you can see. So it's going to run the test. But note something, the test was automatically created from Cypress. It is not what we want to do. Okay, so this test here was automatically created. So we need to structure it. Though I've given you guys the guide on how to structure. I mean, I've given you guys the guide. This is not what we'll be using. We'll use something much more different. I'm going to delete all of this so I can explain how this test works. So to create your script, first you need to have a description. So for some of you that are already writing manual automation, you know what description is, right? Description is you want to describe what particular test you're working on or what particular project you're doing. Our name here is descriptive enough. It says URL launch. However, we can go a step further by explaining what kind of test we're about to do. So I can write describe. So when you use this describe command, it helps you to show the type of test you're about to perform. So I'm going to open a curly bracket, not a curly bracket, a bracket rather. Now, there's a rules about Cypress that I want you guys to understand. Firstly, JavaScript, there's a rule about JavaScript. Remember, we are using JavaScript for our test. The number one rule we should note is that JavaScript does not understand human language. Doesn't understand English. What does it understand? It only understands programming language, not human language. So let's say, for instance, I want to write something in English. Of course, I'll write codes in English, but not in our typical English. So I want to describe that I am testing web, or I'm testing the URL. This is my description. I'm going to get an error. Why am I getting an error? Because we are writing the text in plain language. Now, what is the programming language? Note, we call something strings. String. A string is a word that is encoded, that is within a quote. So this is what we call string. So if we come here and we stringify these words like this, we will not be having any errors. So it means that our English, our normal words must be in a string for system to understand it. I hope this is very easy. So for those of us that are trying code for the first time, you can see how easy it is. Of course, Cypress will do well to identify where your issue is coming from. So it is very, very easy. I bet you if you put more practice, you can learn this within, let's say, a month. to have all the basics, and of course master the codes. So now we understand now from experience that our words must be in a string. So now that we've done this, if we want to separate or add any other value or any other execution, we just have to separate with a comma. Meaning, if we are done writing our statement or our sentence, we want to execute this sentence. Now, this sentence cannot be executable if it is not having a function. If it is not, if you don't create functions command for it, it will not be executable. How do we create functions? We can do it in various ways. We can do this, create an arrowhead, and just put a curly braces. So this is an example of a function. This is an example of a function. So open close brackets and create arrowhead. So if I hover on it, you see something like function. Function. Is either you write it this way or you write it this way. So what does this function do? Is that you write it this way, you see we don't have any errors, or we write it this other way. This is if you want to you don't want to use English, but you just want to write function. This helps you to execute the code. Okay, so we're about to begin a test. We want system to note that we want to start testing, and we want this to reflect in our test field. So this is our first way to reflect our whole code in our test field. So we create a curly braces. The other rule I want to explain to you is called rule number 2. For every open curly braces, there must be a corresponding curly braces. So you can call it curly brackets or braces. So if you open a curly braces, for every open, there must be a corresponding closing. So this is our description, and we already started the function command. We open the curly braces, so we are closing the curly braces here. Wonderful, we understand, right? So the next thing is we want to also have a visit. So we can visit our browser by manually coming and open a tab. But how do we do this? From the command, we simply cy.visit. So this is how we visit. Then, of course, we can just copy the URL. So this is the URL, for instance. So let's go to the main URL, Parabank, and we can just copy, as you can see. And now, can someone tell me why I'll be having an error? Give me a moment. Okay. So I'm just going to remove this thing here. So I'm going to put it, let's say, here. Okay. So let me just go here. Okay. So what we did was we copied the URL from here, and we entered it in this cy.visit. But there's an error. Who can tell us why we have an error? We're not going to spend so much time here. Anybody, if you know the answer, just unmute yourself. We have an error already, but do you know why? Nobody. It is because we are writing in plain English. Okay, so we have to always put the quotes. I hope it makes sense, somebody. So if we put the quotes, we shouldn't have an error. So that's just number 1. Then number 2, we can start up with our test cases. So our test cases are what? Identified or denoted by the it blocks. So when we say it block, for instance, we have made the description or the title of our test is we are testing the URL. Now we want to be able, you say, should we use something like should be able to launch the URL? Okay, so this is what we intend to achieve. We want to achieve being able to launch URL. For this one also to execute, we must do the same thing. We must so we are done with the statement, make it use comma, use curly brackets to enter a function and open a curly braces. Remember what we said, for every curly braces open, there must always be a corresponding close. So but this is not a corresponding closing because we have one error here. If you notice this, we have a curly braces and a normal bracket. So to close it properly, we must always add a normal bracket. Does it make sense? Are we all communicating? Wonderful. So now we don't have any error. So when we come back to our test, and of course, whenever you're writing a code, if you take a moment to do some things and you delay, the Cypress automatically reruns it. So it reruns the test, and sometimes the test will fail, and sometimes the test will pass. So you have to ensure that you're doing the right thing. I can also add something here, a function called before each. I am going to tell you what this before each does. So great. Okay. So also let me put my indentation very well. And yes, I'm good to go. So when I come back to my test, I should be able to launch my Cypress. So I should be able to eventually launch this URL. So this is not the URL we're about to launch. So let's check again. We want to be able to launch this. This is the home, the landing page. So just copy this URL. This is speaking to register. Let's go back. Okay. So hold on, so okay, this is login. Something about this speaks to index, something index dot hrm. Let's see. Okay, good. So this is the was not found. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the landing page itself where you enter username and password. So let's just shoot it correctly. Okay, so make sure your quotation is there and everything should be perfect. So perfect, we don't have an error. So let's launch this. So sometimes it takes time. You just have to click on this and it will execute. Okay, think it's taking the long time to execute. Uh, let's go to Google, try Google URL. Okay, let's see. Okay. So I think it's taking a long time to execute. Okay, so let's close and open again. So when you're terminating, just hold Control C, then run the same command, Cypress open. Let's try running a Google app, a Google URL first. So of course, we already configured. So as you can see, this is being configured already. So click Electron. Then of course, we are testing this spec, so this file. So just click on the file. And okay, so this is opening. I think it was a network thing. So this is opening. So what we need to do is let's still use the normal browser we want to use, the normal URL we're about to use. So let's copy this. So if you're testing, most times you might be frustrated by network. Don't panic. Just be sure you're doing the right thing first by following the rules. Then you ensure you can. Okay, great. So we have perfect. I mean, this is perfect. So finally launched, right? So this is typically how you launch a website. So I gave us some rules. For instance, when you noticed some things, I can write some words that are not, programming words, but they are still executable, is because I put a forward slash. This is a forward slash. So I indicated a forward slash, excuse me, two forward slash that would comment out these words. So for instance, if I want to write something, I don't want system to execute that thing, I might just write it. So if I write my name now, system will not execute. To the side of the system, it is hidden. But the moment I remove it, guess what? My system flags it. He sees it and probably tries to fail it. Do you understand? Because it is not supposed to be here. But the moment I hide it, so to hide text you don't want system to execute, just put forward slash. Does it make sense? And that is why you can notice some things are hidden and they are indicated in green. So great. So we already are able to execute the launch of the URL. Now, we have this structure. Okay, we have this structure different from what Cypress give us. If you check this video playback, you see this thing I did was different from what Cypress gave us. I literally added something called before each. I can take it off. It is there for a reason. Okay, I can take this off, and if I'm taking this off, it means I am supposed to put this here. Okay. There's so many things you need to understand. So let me comment out this one. It means this one will not run, but so far I put my commands here, that means it will run. So I'm going to explain what just happened. If you put your test here, this test, everything within this test will be what will execute. For instance, I have created a test case. We all know what test case is. The test case is you should be able to launch URL. So I have launched the URL now. The next thing I want to do from the application, let's imagine or let's assume I want to register. So I'm going to click on this button. There are various ways I'm going to click on this button. I'll be teaching you some few ways. So because of our time, we can click on this button on this page by finding something called the ID class, the class, or using HTML attributes. So what are we finding? This is an element on the web. So this is a web. It is called an element. However, this element's name is called register. But there is a word that the program understands. That word, we call it selector. I hope you are taking notes. So to be more technical, I would rather say I want to get a selector of this element. Now, it should have been very easy for me to just click on this target here and just move down. And if I click on the target, it shows blue. And when I move, you see I can actually point out on some things. Now, if you notice, as I click, there's a name that is appeared. These are like the elements. These are the selectors. Selectors, to my little way of explaining, is just like a coded word or a programming word of this element. This is called product. So the programming word that the system understands is this. The programming word our system understands for this is this. But if I rely on this, most times my test will fail. So I'm going to teach us a more convenient and easy way of how to locate elements on the web. First, I'm going to identify the element, which is this button. I'm going to double click. I don't know, I use a MacBook, so you can press the option tab on your touchpad. So I'm going to locate inspect and click on inspect. Okay. Now I can locate this element called register in various ways. First, I can locate it with a class. Second, I can locate it if it has an ID. Third, I can locate it if it has an HTML attribute. Okay. I can locate it with a class. I can locate it with an ID. And third, I can locate it with an HTML attribute. But I just mentioned three things. However, those three things are not here. Remember, we can locate elements with class, meaning if it has class. For instance, if I come to google.com and I click on this field and I go to inspect the same way, here is more detailed. See, we have a class. With this class alone, I can locate that field. With this ID alone, look at this ID, I can locate that field. With this name, which is called the HTML attribute, I can locate that field. And of course, I can locate it if it is a button that has a text, I can locate with commands. But in this case, we don't even have a class, we don't have an ID, we only have something like href. But there is a way around it. To locate this element, firstly, you can identify by again confirming this button. So this button is under is under a tag called P. And inside P is wrapped. There are so many things wrapped inside of P. So I can click down and see something called A. Okay. Now, if I want to be sure I'm in the right spot of register, I can simply do Control F on this field. Don't be confused. Once I do Control F, if I do P and I put space A, look at P space A has given us two options. Okay. Now let me take that again. So if I click here, this button here is like a selector finder or locator finder. It is here also on Cypress. When I click on it here, this whole thing activates to blue. As you can see, I can easily locate these elements. I can see solutions. This is the coded word or the programming word for solutions called the selector. So as I click, I find their hidden selectors. So the same way so let me take that again, just for our knowledge. So I'm going to cancel. Now to locate register, I simply have to double click, just bring up this option tab, go to inspect. Now you can see that the thing is highlighting automatically under here. So let me just scroll. So if I click on the locator finder and click on register, the automatic highlight is under P. Now P is being collapsed. So there's something under it, which is A, and this is wrapped within this P. So look at it here. The opening tag is P, which is a paragraph. The closing tag is P, which is your paragraph. So if I collapse this, it means our register, which is this, is wrapped inside of P. Okay. So what I did was to do Control Find. I wanted to find this part, this element alone. So if I put the same P space A, sorry, people are trying to join. Let me just permit them. So P space A, which is this, P space A, it has found two elements. One of the elements, if I click down, it is P. The second one is forgot login info. Look at it. So if I click down, it's highlighting on register. If I click the other one, is highlighting on forgot element. When I come here to Cypress, I do cy.get. Why do we use cy.get? The term cy, like I said, means Cypress. The term get here is a method in the programming words. Okay, hold on, people are trying to join. Okay, so the term get is a method in programming that we use to find things. For instance, when I want to search for something on the web, the system automatically knows I am searching. How? Because a GET request is made. It is sent to the database. So the database understands whenever GET request is coming up. Look at it, GET. Whenever it is getting a request, automatically I am able to find something on the web, as you can see. So I just want to get, meaning I just want to click and navigate to the register page. The command to use, very easy, just cy.get. In fact, in most of your coding with Cypress or your programming with Cypress, you most often use cy.get. Now I want to get the selector. Don't forget, guys, I have to call on my quotation. The first thing I want to get is register, but I want to get the hidden, or should I say the selectors of that register. I have found it. It is P space A. From here, this is what we call the DOM element. So from the DOM element, I have found it. This P, when I highlight on it, it is going to where? Login. When I come down, it is either going to login or it is going to register. because there are two element system found for me on this page. So if I click on this arrow, it is going to register, meaning the second element here goes to register. The other element goes to where? Forgot login info. Now, how do I use this element, use this selector, but on the second element, which is register, which is where I want to go to? It is easy. I'm simply going to use P space A. We already know P space A is carrying two elements. And if I use it, for instance, dot click, which is to click, if I use it like this, we are going to have an error. Watch. It says cy.click can only be called on a single element. It's just like we are trying to click on these two elements at the same time. Does it make sense? So how then do we identify or inform Cypress we want to click on this one? So we are going to use something called the law of indices. Law of indices is we were going to start from the first element, which is 0. Second element is going to be 1. So even 0 is a number according to indices. Okay. So we are going to do something like EQ what? Is it EQ 0 or EQ 1?
One.
Wonderful. You guys are already testers. So I'm going to say I have an error because I have to put dots before the EQ. So if I do EQ1, guess what happened? System is going to run automatically. And guess what? So can you see? I hover on the click. We already have clicked here. And when I come to the before, we've navigated to what? The register. Can you see that? Can everybody see this? So let's go to the, excuse me, to the main page itself. So for instance, this is our page. Let's go. This is the website. If you click here, the URL should change to this. Let me go back so you can see it properly. This is our website. It is called parabank.parasoft.com/parabank/index.htm. But if you click register, the system should automatically direct us to this registration, this page that has /register. In testing, when you want to confirm the URL, you have to confirm every corner of the URL. Now, before we click, we can do what we call an assertion. We want to confirm that the URL is exactly what it is. So we can do cy.url. No, cy.url.equal. So we can come here and say dot should equal. We want the URL to equal to something. Of course, we already launched the URL, but we want it to equal to the URL itself. So let's see. And guys, please don't use your head to grab all these things. Please have a note. There is something that I want to teach you guys. Now, this URL, this command, it is basically to launch the URL. Does it make sense? But this command is to confirm that the URL is equal to this. Equal to this. Let's say, for instance, the URL, we mistakenly say it should be equal to HT. We omitted the M. Guess what's going to happen? If the URL paraventure, the developer remove an M or a letter from this URL, guess what's going to happen? System is going to throw an error. Because the system, this command, this thing we did, URL should, is we are giving an instruction that our URL must equal to this. So paraventure, we have a letter or an alphabet missing out from exactly what the URL has seen or the supposedly supposed to be to fail. Look at, if I add the letter M now, which is this M, guess what? System will pass the test. Does it make sense? So this gives you a level of assurance that even if you're sleeping, if anything changes, whether it's a letter, a text, or any format, if it changes, the whole system would crash. We can also confirm that cy.url should, we can say it should not. Now, if you notice, if I'm typing this should, I'm not getting auto suggestions. I can help you with that. If I go back to this scaffolding, these examples, there is something called reference type. If I copy all these things, line one, and I close, and I go back to my code, and I put it in line one. So see what's going to happen. If I'm typing a code next time, cy.url should, I say not, it's going to give me auto suggestions. Can you see? That's the essence of this command. Are we communicating? Please, if we are communicating, you know how we used to do it. Exactly. So we can say should not. We can use words like not have. So you just have to use English that makes sense. So let's say not have. Let's see. Or should not equal. Let's use word like not equal. Should not equal. What do we want to confirm? That it should not equal. So if you click on this registration, it comes here, right? So we don't want it to equal to registration before we move in there. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. And again, the system will execute the code, and of course, it will pass it. What we are saying is, if we are on this page, we are supposed to be on this page. It should not equal to the next page. Are we communicating? So, like I said earlier before, this gives us a level of reassurance that our system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. A lot of people are trying to join us. Okay. Okay. So now that we are very confident that we've tested this application, okay, we don't also want it to contain, let's say, cy.url. Now, if you notice, the website has .com, but it does not have .ng. So we can say .should not contain. So, so let me, use this auto suggestion again. So when you call up this, not, okay, I didn't spell the should very well. Apologies. Should, and I do this again, not. So I'll look for not contain. So N is, it is arranged alphabetically, okay? So not contain. So I don't want it to contain NG. Now see the difference. If I go there, of course, it will not contain. But let's say mistakenly, I remove the not, I say contain NG. Contain meaning in either of these words, there must be something like NG. But if system does not find any NG, see what it's going to do. It's going to fail it. And it's going to highlight to you where the error is coming from. Are we communicating, guys? Does it make sense, somebody? Now let's try something. This last word that has HTM, let's see, it contains, see, cy.url should now contain, okay, HTM. Of course, we know this will fail, so let's turn this back to not.contain, okay? So should contain HTM, guess what? Okay, the should, now, look, we wrote the should wrongly, so of course, we should address that. We should know where the error is coming from. Now, we want it to contain HTM, meaning it must contain HTM, okay? So guess what? It is going to pass. Now, do we see how well we are testing this URL? We are testing to confirm nothing. And guess what? After all these tests we've added, if peradventure there is a mistake or a modification added in your absence, guess what? It will fail. But after we click, now all this was done before we click on, this is the registration button. So let's say register button. We all know because we found it together. Let no one be confused. Now, before we click on registration, guess what? We are able to confirm all this. Now, as soon as we click, look at the URL, index.html. As soon as we click on register, guess what? The URL should change to register.html. True or false? True, right? I need some fire emojis on the comment to know everyone is following. So now we have to confirm because we've clicked. See, we are moving from, let's run this test again. So this is the test. It is going to launch. This is our field for launch. As soon as we move to the other page, of course, it changes. Can you see? So we can also confirm. Now we've clicked. We can also confirm that when we clicked, we found this name. Okay, we can inspect again. Let's do that together. And look at it. So now it's showing us, now to get this, to make you guys understand this inspect very easily, it is very simple. Don't stress yourself. When you want to find an element, find that element on the field, on the page. Just go there and inspect that element. Go to inspect. It's going to open something for you. This is called the DOM elements. A DOM is, in the programming world, is just saying a group of code wrapped in one group. A set of code wrapped in one group. So we call them DOM elements. Sets of code wrapped in one group. So if I come here and I want to check the group of this. So if I hit this selector and I click here, it's going to highlight something for me. Now I've seen the highlight, but it is coming from somewhere. See, it is coming from this div. Now to get it again, I'm going to do Control F. Now this div has h1. Can you see it? It has a class. So if I do div.h1, see, let me scroll up a bit. Div, where is it? Let me just go back there. Capture here. It has a div and an h1 element. So div rather space h1. See, we have one of one. If I do enter, the one of one is highlighting here. Can you see? So the same way, I'm going to copy this selector. I'm going to come down because we got it after we clicked on register. We got this page. So I'm going to come here and say cy again dot get. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Div space h1. This selector is to locate this text field, this field here. So let me just copy it. So I have located this particular place, right? I can do the same thing. I can say dot should. So if I'm using an assertion is to confirm the correctness, exactly what is on the page. To get the information on the page, I'm going to use dot should. I can use something like should have dot text because I found the text and I want to confirm that the text must be exactly this. So if I run this test again, of course, it is going to find a text and confirm that the text is equal to this. Peradventure, I remove even a letter, even the apostrophe. See, I'm going to take the apostrophe off. Guess what? It is going to fail because that's when you are using dot, should have is finding exactly how the text is. Now, do you understand? Have text is confirming word for word exactly what the text is. But when we use something like should contain, let me use contain text. Contain does not mean exactly. So if it will pass because it contains signing up is easy, which is contain. Do you understand? It will pass. It contains these words. But when you want to confirm the text must be exact, use something called have. Then it will fail now because it is remaining one other text or should I call it one other character, which is called the apostrophe. Do we know the difference between contain and have now? Does everyone know the difference between contain and have now? Guess what? It is going to fail. And we all know the reason. Why? Because we omitted the apostrophe under have. So when we come back here and we put the apostrophe, guess what? Automatically it is going to run and it will pass. Because of our time, a lot of us, of course, tomorrow is Sunday, a lot of us will plan to be in church and all. So we are going to end here. It is very easy to master Cypress, as you can see, and we can take this journey as from the beginner stage to the advanced stage together. I hope this little journey has exposed so many things as we all have learned something. I am very, very convinced. Everyone in this meeting has learned something, but we may not know because it is our first time. Trust me, a journey in tech, especially as a software tester, it is very, very sweet. We welcome everybody, whether you're new, you're old, but you really know you don't know testing, you don't know automation. It is very, very easy to learn. It is something that you start, and before you know it, in twinkle of an eye, you see yourself automating. Now, my worry, the reason why this journey is free for everybody is because most companies, whenever they want to hire you, especially for a role of higher payment, they tend to ask you if you know automation. I've been in too many interviews. In fact, the last job we shared in our group, so many of us don't know we have a group called Get Jobs. It is there. Okay, after this call, it will be shared. And the last group has the last job we shared has a role for you know someone who can do both manual and automation, and the salary was 1.3. You see, and totally remote role. If you had known this job, sure, you would just apply. Very easy. A lot of people applied, and a lot of people were rejected. And I said no. Let's have a free training for people to understand that automation is not scary. They are just not ready, mind ready rather, to do this. So in this course, like I said, it's just to have a one-on-one interaction with everybody. Seeing the beauty of automation is not hard. It is just a little bit of more practice, and everybody is getting, it's the site, and everybody's getting the hands-on experience and everything. I want to show you guys something, but before then, I think network is a bit slow. But let's ask questions. Let's are there questions in this section? Yeah, Dami.
Hold on, please. Um, Someone asked, for each new folder we create, is it a must we download Node.js on it?
Is it a must
Um,
with Node.js?
yes, that's one
Yes.
question. Okay, so
Yes.
Joseph, the answer is yes. Then someone asks, how can we check the selector for a tailwind styled page, not CSS?
How can we check selector for a tailwind start page? Do you have a tailwind, an application built with a tailwind? Like I said, there are various ways you can get selectors. You can get selector through your class. This person that asked, I don't know if you joined us early. Let me go back there. So you're trying to get a selector for this field page. You can get it through class. So let me go back there to this inspect mode. Now this is your class. This part is your selector. To get more knowledge of these selectors and how to use them, I suggest you join us again in the section coming up in January is the cohort. The class is coming up in January. Please join us if you are free. This we are going to have a full automation experience. Is going to be full blown automation experience together. You learn it from basic. You'll be given hands-on experience. You'll be given projects to work on. You would, it's just going to be very, very massive. Starting up on 2nd of February. Okay. We will learn how to use selector, how to get selectors. What we just did was a practical experience. Of course, there are more into this. You're going to learn to the point that you don't have to show all these codes visible. You hide them somewhere. That's where we'll introduce things like page object model. Of course, we also teach you CI/CD, how to integrate to pipelines, and so much more. So my advice is don't be in a rush. And we have a cohort for you in case you choose to take this journey or your career in software testing further. Of course, video will be available for you to rewatch. So you can just fill your informations here. You choose the level, automation. You can choose the level. I mean, you have automation level, you have ISTQB data analysis. And guess what? More courses will be integrated and implemented, added to this starting from next year. Of course, you will benefit from so much more from this journey. And when you finish, filling up this information, you just click here to continue, which is continue your registration and click here. The network is actually very, very, very bad, and I don't know why. But I guess it is, yeah, we are progressing. It's going. Can everybody still see my screen? Okay. So um the most important thing for you guys, for every interested party, is very, very is this. This is the carvdev.com course stock product catalog. This is where it becomes very interesting. Now I'm going to share this product catalog in the group. We have so much materials. For instance, the material I'm going to share with you guys, this material, how to get started, exactly what we taught in the video. There's a practical step for you. I'm going to share it to everybody so you gain access to it. You can have access to the programming. So this is the first script generated by Cypress. But of course, I'll be teaching you how to modify your own script. If you have questions, you can ask me questions. What we did was writing our first script, and we saw the beauty of how we wrote it. It wasn't hard. Okay. So in this product catalog, this is where it becomes very interesting. Normally, a lot of people will charge you so much more. You will be charged. Now, let me tell you why you'll be charged. It is very, very important you are being charged. The number of people that enrolled for the automation testing, let me show you. We have a number of people. They range between 230 something. Imagine 230 something people registered, but here on this call, we are less than 100. And that's because so many people would take it for granted. They feel like, oh, okay, it is free, so I can join in anytime. No, we should remove the mindset of, look at this is 224 people who registered, and we have here on the call, let's say 60 people. 60 people, 59 persons are presently on this call. And that is why when you want to take your career very seriously, you have to be charged so you know the pain of what you're losing to get something. There's a quote that says you lose to gain something. So this is going to be for 200K. However, because you all joined in this call today, there's going to be a percentage, a discount. Learning coding and automation is not something you want to just start and learn in a rush. It's something you have to ready yourself. Make sure your mind is ready because you'll be learning hard codings. You'll be learning coding and programming. So many things you have to keep in your head, and so many things you have to jot down and pin them somewhere. Because you join this training today, when you click on this product catalog, you get a discount. And when you click on the discount will take you to a page where you pay just 150K per month. Not per month, rather, just once. It's a one-time payment. So forget this description. I think there's an error. Says monthly. You're just paying 150K monthly. One-time payment. Now, this 150K you're paying can only last from now till 31st of December. So the moment you pass 31st, it goes back to the original price, which is 200K. Why are you learning this automation? I'm sure before you join this call, you already know what automation is, or probably you just wish to explore. Of course, you've seen the beauty of automation. It helps you in your test, and it is a requirement for you to even get a job. Forget anything you know about manual. It's a great skill, but you need automation to thrive. So these discounts of 150K will be opened and available from now to the end of the year. After January, in fact, once we enter January 1st, the first week in January or the first day in January, this discount will disappear and everyone would pay 200K. But there is something we are going to do for everybody here. After this course, we'll give you guys a quiz. Like you all know, for those of you that are in the group, you saw the quiz. The quiz is just set for 12 minutes. So you can't even cheat. I don't even advise you to cheat. Just attempt the quiz the best way you can. Everything we've taught ourselves here are all in that quiz. If you have a reasonable score, or if you score the highest, we are only giving out 3 scholarships. Like I said, we are training people for free. It happens most times just so you can get the beauty of quality and start testing things in the right way, and then you can get a job. It is all on you to decide. If you pass the quiz, you will. So somebody said it's not on the group. Who is not on the group? I thought everyone is on the group. How did you get this? How did you get this meeting for the call then? Okay. So to join the group, it is very, very easy. I am going to drop a link now on this comment chat that we are all in. Give me a moment, guys, and let me get the link so everybody can join the group. It is very, very important you join the group. Please confirm that you can see a link drop in the comment section. Can everybody see the link? Please copy and just enter it in your web browser. It will lead you on how to join the group. As you can see, a lot of people joined, but we have lesser people, and that is why it's important for us to know that you are serious. We're only moving on with the most serious people. Sorry, Wash, you give me a moment, I'll attend to you. So let me tell you how you can join the group. Very easy. So when you register, you put your email, put your full name, put your WhatsApp number. If you have an alternative, you can answer all these questions. Then it says here, have you joined our community? If no, click here. So, okay, sorry, I'm actually on the admin right. So when you click here, it takes you to the group. When you join, just minimize to this page and click yes to continue. Without this, you can't continue. Do you understand? So it is very, very easy. So guys, what are we saying? This discount is open from now to 30th, 31st of December. After 31st of December, it goes back to 200K. So you have the opportunity now to save up. It is really not a very big amount of money when you check it because it's adds to your CV that automation testing with Cypress and so many more opportunity. You'll be added to the job group where we share job groups and all. So we have a lot of package for you. And yeah, this would help you enhance more productivity in the software testing field. Okay. So if you need assistance, please drop comments, drop messages. We don't just do that. We have so many more topics, courses like ISTQB preparation training. And guess what? Even the entry level is 280. And that is why this is a very good advantage for you. For automation, you are just paying 150. If I were you, of course, I know what to do. So the last thing I just want to drop us with, or to drop us with before we start to talk about questions. So somebody is dropping links. Who is that person? You have already responded. I got the link. So what was this link you shared now? Temitope, can you unmute yourself? What was this link you shared?
The response that I got when I click on the link. So I got this.
Oh,
You have already responded.
okay,
So I
great.
don't know, and I haven't been added to the group yet.
But did you? Okay, so the group is called Tech Community. So haven't you been added to the tech community yet? Are you sure?
Yes, because I got
You've not
this
been.
meeting link via email.
Okay, so there's a group called Tech Community.
Is it on
Capdev Tech.
Slack? or
No, no,
WhatsApp?
no. WhatsApp, CapDev Tech community. Are you sure you've not been added? CapDev Tech
No,
community. Let me quickly open.
no, I haven't.
Okay. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. So I think there's a network challenge that is really, really affecting this engagement. Okay. Dami, sorry, are there any questions so we can attempt to
Yeah, seems I'm not the only one.
oh really?
Yes. I think Deepo is also having the same issue.
I filled the form before, but I haven't been added. Same here. Wow, a lot of people. Okay, do you know what? Let me just share the link with all of us. Let me just share the link directly. And please, um, I'm going to share the link now. I beg of you, just join so that we can all have access to the group because we'll be sharing so much details in the group for follow up. Please confirm you can see the link now. Can you all see the link? Can you all see the link? Okay, so confirm you can join the link and let me know. So guys, if you pass the if you pass the quiz, would our team would of course, run through the analysis and analyze people that did well and share results in the group. And you would be given an automatic 100% discount. You don't need to pay, and you would join the cohort. And so that is it. And this scholarship is just for 3 persons. And of course, you take the interview, you take the quiz immediately after this call. I'm going to give you a time, like 10 to 15 minutes to refresh or freshen yourself, and you can take the quiz. And of course, you all know the process. The process is you register. No, no, no. You can't open the quiz. Yes, yes, because we are still on the call. Of course, I will give you the best time. So you know the process now. Once you register, input your name, and you click continue, and you pay for the course. A receipt will be shared, will be sent to you, and that receipt will carry more information about your course training. Will be sent to you. For instance, you'll be added to an LMS, a separate group where we would send you more comprehensive documents that you will read and understand. And then there will be, it's not a recorded section, it's going to be a live section. Somebody will be here like me, taking you on every step and every code. You don't need to worry about if you know tech before or you don't know tech. Can you all still hear me, please? Am I still audible? Okay. You don't need to bother or worry if you know coding before you don't know coding. All you need to do is very simple. Just be in class and you will understand it word for word. You don't need to stress yourself. That being it, does anyone have any question? Yes, that reminds us. There is an hangout coming up this December. We usually host an hangout every year to celebrate our people and, of course, to have a time to meet one another. The class is an online class, so we have events every year. Last year, we did the tour to Ghana, where we all went to Ghana and celebrate. We explored the cities in Ghana. This year, we are not traveling out of Nigeria. What we are doing is to meet up within Nigeria. Yes, is it? Sorry, if you want to talk, just raise your hand so that you don't interrupt. You know, so I will be very sure who's talking. So this year we'll meet in Nigeria in a location, then of course you collaborate with people, share connections, share contacts. Of course, there will be some HR guys, project management, people that work in different institutions, different companies. It's an opportunity for you to collaborate with them, share contacts, and of course, when there are openings, they will be the first to notify you because you are keeping tabs with them. So that's pretty much how we do things here. We have fun at the same time we work. Okay. So if everything we've discussed now is understood, does anyone have any question before we call it a day? Sorry, are you saying something? Okay, I think he mistakenly unmuted himself. All right. So no other question. I believe everything we've discussed it is understood. Does this mean I'm a very good teacher? How did you even understand everything? Or are you guys waiting for the recording? Oh, really? I'm a good teacher. Uh-huh. Wow. So I should take my flowers. Thank you so much, everyone. So with this in mind, there will be more communication shared with the group. And for those of you that complained about not joining the group, I want to hear from you. Are you able to join the group now? Please confirm to me you're able to access the WhatsApp group. Kindly confirm
Yes,
you're able to access WhatsApp.
yes.
Okay, wonderful. Now, with that being said, we have more things we will be doing together. This is just the automation training. We have um the entry level training, which will be coming up the end of this month. It doesn't cost you anything to still learn. If you know you've learned entry level, you are perfect in it, you don't have any issues with manual testing, no problem. You might choose to share this with somebody who needs it. So there's still more trainings coming up for free that would help you gain insights. But I may not guarantee that you don't have to pay. Listen, don't be afraid of payment. That's the truth. It helps you to keep yourself in check. Okay, it helps you to ensure accountability. Where you know your money is invested in, there's a quote that says the heart of a man is where his treasure is. So you've put a treasure somewhere. You have to ensure you are accountable for it. There's a quote I wrote here. Apart from how to join our community and of course enroll for trainings, get free access. Can you please mute your mic? Who is that person? Please assist us mute your mic. Thank you. Where is it again? Here. After you must have done this, it says change is inevitable, but growth is optional. You can decide to remain in one position for a long time, or you can decide to grow. So it's an optional, it's something that is optional. There are 7 steps here by John Maxwell to succeed. Make a commitment to grow. It is an intentional effort. For you to be here, so many people are probably somewhere, having pleasure or probably doing some other stuff. But you are here because you wanted to gain knowledge. It was intentional. Value the process more than the event. Many people think when they learn automation, their first money, says first payment is 1 million naira or 2 million naira. It can happen, it's very possible, but that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal is to be so good and then start working, start implementing that thing you've learned. I personally would not advise you to keep learning and learning and learning. Learn and apply. Do you understand? Don't wait for inspiration. It is very wrong for you to wait for somebody to motivate you, but it is good to always collaborate in tech meetings, hangouts, seminars like this, like an event coming up in December. Meet up with people, collaborate with them, share contact. You never can tell. Many of my best jobs were not places I went to submit CV, were somewhere they recommended me. Oh, please call this person. This person he knows this thing, call him. And I just received a call. So your friend can recommend you, knowing fully well they understand your capacity and how well you implement best practice approach, of course. So don't wait for inspiration. Go out there and get the job done. Be willing to sacrifice pleasure for opportunity. Firstly, you have to congratulate each and every one of you for being a part of this. It is very big for you to even be part. You started, you joined from the beginning, and you waited to this end. I'm very, very sure that your sacrifice was not in vain. This whole thing we did together is recorded, and I assure you that you'll get the recording after this call. And like I said, everything we've taught would come out in the quiz. So please don't fail me. In fact, you that started with us, I want to see you get the scholarship. I want to see you do better. You can't even, don't try to cheat. Just try to pass with your conscience. It is 10 questions, which I don't believe is hard. I believe you get it. I mentioned everything in the meeting. Okay. And dream big. You may not you may not be where you are presently. This is the end of the year. You may not be where you want to be, but of course you started a journey. The most important thing is you've started a journey. Many people, neglect the humble beginning. You've started something. You've determined to learn this for free, as in to join this training. Build on this journey you've started. So dream bigger. Don't just say after all it's just one day. Press further to learn more. Plan your priorities. Okay. When you plan your priorities, you would know the next thing to implement, the next thing to do, and give up to go up. You must always give up to go up. So many people are asking, what time is it for the quiz? I'm going to give you people extra 10 minutes. I will announce everything in the group so you don't get the quiz unannounced. Please be in the group. Again, if you're not in the group, let me know. I am sure everybody on this call are all in that group. And when you're in that group, all you need to do is to ensure you participate and you do what is needed to be done. We'll meet again. My name remains John Chimeze, and I'm very happy to take you all on this journey. Please, if you have any issue at all, just DM me privately. Of course, my image is shown. I can still show my face again. Please confirm you can all see me again. Confirm you can all see me. Can you all see me? Is this style better? What style is better? This one or without the glasses? All right. Thank you so much, guys. It's a very great pleasure having this section with you. And I really want to see you all in our next session. Okay, somebody is raising up their hand. Orenuga. Yes, do you want to say something, Orenuga? Please go on,
Good
Orenuga.
evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I tried joining the group using the link you dropped in the comments, but I'm not able to copy it.
You're not able to copy. You're not
Yes.
able to copy, really. Um, you're not able. Are you using your phone?
Yes, I'm using my phone. My PC is currently dead.
Dead. Oh, okay. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, do you know what? Let me. Okay, hold on. Let me stop the recording so you can just